What's going on? It's Justeeni here. As you guys might know, hopefully you do. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Imperius won the World Championships for Polytopia. This was the winning tribe, piloted by Arthur, who's of course very good at the game. But Imperius is also a good tribe. It's no coincidence that they won. Is Imperius the best tribe in the game? At least for small lakes, which is what World Championships on. Unlike large lakes and really large maps in general, it's definitely clear that Imperius isn't it. But in these conditions, is Imperius the best tribe? It's an interesting question. I'm gonna have some gameplay in the background while I ramble, I guess. That's how my videos are. But in this case, the gameplay is even less important. I just queued some random games on small lakes, just to have. But I guess first thing to think about with the rambling is what makes Imperius so good in the first place. And I mean, the most common answer you'll hear, and for good reason, is they're flexible, which in Polytopia, being flexible is quite a good thing. Like, the more options you have, usually the better. Even more true on a smaller map where a lot of things can happen. And then, of course, Imperius is a turn 0 tribe. There's that factor as well. Organization is a relatively good starting tech, and the resources are pretty solid. Like, if you compare them to non-turn 0 tribes, their economy is faster. I wouldn't, like, not consider non-turn 0s. Like, they should still be factored in. Like, Kudrik is still pretty good. Even on small lakes, they're actually still pretty decent. Chinchi, of course, is quite good. But turn 0s definitely have an advantage. Oh man, what a sad explorer. I don't know what I was thinking with that one. But yeah, Imperius is a turn 0, and they're the most flexible of all the turn 0s. Like, part of that comes down to their terrain and their starting tech. Because, like, starting tech wise, if you think about all the turn 0s, Imperius doesn't have the best starting tech, actually. Like, fishing probably isn't great for small lakes. It's still not bad, but it's not great. Hunting and farming are both arguably superior techs. There's some debate with like farming and org, which is actually better to start with, but I feel like hunting, there's a lot less debate. Hunting's just a better tech. Why isn't barter the best? Kind of comes down to terrain. Barter terrain kind of stinks. It's not that bad. I mean, barter was the runner-up in the World Championships, but there's some to be desired. But that kind of like leans into it, because terrain is an important factor. It leans into your flexibility. Like, Zabasi's another tribe that people considered, some people even thought maybe better than Imperius, which they're not really wrong to think that. I mean, if only Justeeni wasn't the one piloting Zabasi, am I right? Self-deprecating humor. We love it on the Justeeni channel. But yeah, jokes aside, I feel like Zabasi is not like obviously better than Imperius. If they are better, it's certainly not by a big margin, because what Zabasi has is a lot of power with Construction Rush. If they're not doing Construction Rush, they tend to just be a worse Imperius. So it's like this one thing that they can leverage, but there's a lot of things that Zabasi can't leverage. Like, for example, in this game right now, actually, Smithery Rush. Zabasi just can't do that. That's not a thing you can do. Look at Zabasi's mountains. They have half the mountains of Imperius, you know, because the spawn rate's reduced in half. They have reduced forests, so Math Rush isn't a thing either. In exchange, they get farming, which is a great starting tech for Construction Rush. They also, I think, have more animals than Imperius. So, like, terrain-wise, they have pretty solid terrain. I'd still say Imperius has the better terrain, though. But, yeah, Imperius, with the sheer amount of options, they're just so consistent, so adaptable, all that. On a kind of unrelated note, I do think it's a little weird that Imperius is always the tribe that people recommend to beginners. I'm guilty of this myself, but I don't know. I just think it's kind of interesting, because Imperius, I feel like, is probably one of the last tribes I would recommend as a beginner. Like, the more that you think about it, like, what makes Imperius so strong is having a lot of options And in order to use Imperius, you have to weigh a lot of different things and consider what's best. Like with this game, I decided what's best is Smithery, and then devoting a lot of my power towards this one lake in the middle with Aquatism, Defenders, and all that. Like, look at this tech tree. Requires a surprising amount of maybe not the most intuitive decisions. But this is the tribe recommended for beginners. Even though I feel like something like Barter, for example. Yes, Barter is kind of outclassed by Imperius, but I'd say they're a lot easier to play. You don't fall into the farming trap, which I see a lot of beginners do with Imperius, where they, you know, farming's right there, just buy it. It's not always a good choice. In fact, very often it's not. It's usually why Imperius and Barter play so similarly, is because farming isn't that good. But like, yeah, what makes Imperius good is all the options, and a beginner isn't going to know how to use that. Now, it is important to know, like, flexibility is good in Polytopia. That's what makes Imperius good. And it's a good concept to know, like, keep your options open and whatnot. But I feel like you can do that without playing a tribe that forces you to do that, or else you lose the game, basically, or forfeit all your advantage. I don't know. I feel like beginners should play Barter. It's also a free tribe. It's easier to pick up. Maybe not as easy to master. I don't know. Both Imperius and Barter are hard to master. But Barter's a lot more intuitive. Like, you're going usually towards math or organization. You occasionally have like Smithery. Again, you still can keep your options open, but it's not really required to the same degree as Imperius. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that. I might be totally crazy, but I feel like Imperius is not actually beginner friendly. Yes, they're a strong tribe, maybe even the best, at least for these map conditions specifically. But yeah, I don't know. Funny Justeeni tangent. I don't know what else to say, so I guess I'll end it here. I actually had some more games, and like, I don't know, I could show them. Maybe I'll put one of them in the description as a little treat. So the people that watch the whole video, you get a free game in the description. It'll be against Simanti. You can see how to beat Simanti with Imperius. But yeah, I guess to sum things up, Imperius good because they have a lot of flexibility. Like, if you look at like the World Championship clips, like Imperius is not a one-trick pony. Even like in the hands of like a player like Arthur who favors a certain playstyle, he still doesn't even do the same thing all the time with Imperius. It's a tribe that rewards considering all your options, which isn't easy to do at all, but if you can do it, you're rewarded greatly. Yeah, I like Imperius. They're pretty cool, I guess. You know, can't go wrong with them. They can feel a little basic at times, but that's okay. We like having a basic tribe. Kind of a necessity. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the shorter, little different video. But yeah, like and sub, and have a good one.